So I want to talk about Spurs and Mauricio Pochettino. Now, after that loss to Saints, he came out and he spoke to some of the television cameras and the radio, and he said that we're not mature enough, and he said that basically he thought it was sad, but he thinks Tottenham have reached their level. Now, I think that's really telling. When a manager of a football club currently aiming for a top 3 or 4 finish can come out mid-season and actually say something like that, it's a clear message to the owner, to Daniel Levy, to say, I need more. And he's spoken about it. That's 2 transfer windows that he's not been able to make any signings. And to be fair, he's overachieved for the last 4 or 5 seasons. I mean, if you think about it, when he joined Tottenham, he finished 5th in that first season. Then he's had a couple of 3rd place finishes. He's 3rd currently, but in a very tight battle at the moment. And even had a 2nd place finish. And remember, in the end, Leicester City won that particular season, which was a bit of a miracle season. But when you look at kind of the top teams who are challenging for trophies, you know, Premier League titles year in, year out, like Manchester City's and Liverpool at the moment, Jurgen Klopp had all the key signings that he wanted. And I kind of see them in a similar kind of model. They've come in, they've said, you know, wait with me, I want to sort of implement my own philosophy. And Klopp sort of targeted a few key players that he wanted. He wanted Virgil van Dijk, he wanted Alisson as a keeper, and he's obviously Naby Keita as well, and he's made really key signings, and he's also developed some of the players that he's got there already. So he's done a really good job, and it must be frustrating when you're Mauricio Pochettino and you've brought through some brilliant young talents, just like he did at Southampton as well. And obviously the way he's developed Kane in his very first season, he pinpointed Kane and he said, I'm going to bring him through. He's going to be the main man. A few people might have had a few raised eyebrows at the time, but look at Kane now. He's on fire. He scored in that goal against Southampton. But unfortunately, you know, they let a lead slip. And when you're doing that, it's slight naivety from a team as well. And I think Pochettino came out and was actually quite vocal about that. He's sending a clear and obvious message. And then you worry what kind of players are going to end up leaving. I mean, some of the key players like Eriksen, Dele Alli, Harry Kane, certainly some of the big clubs are going to be wanting their signatures, like the likes of, well, Manchester United. Obviously, Tottenham have been known to be a bit of a selling club in the past, sold so many of their key players, and it must be so frustrating as a fan. I think the one thing that's keeping Spurs fans going at the moment is they've got a brand new stadium, but even that's been embarrassing. You know, the dates keep changing. Suddenly that they're saying they're finally going to be playing there in April. Personally, I think it's a bad idea. They're in a quarter-final. They managed to overcome Dortmund, what was it, 4-0 on aggregate. And suddenly they've got a real chance of perhaps winning the Champions League, or certainly progressing quite far in it. And they're going to go and play in a brand new stadium for that. I mean, I can see it's a bit of an incentive, but also a heck of a lot of pressure for players. I don't think it's the kind of thing that you want to be doing. But then, you know, when it comes to Daniel Levy, when it comes to big clubs, it's about money. And I do worry a little bit about that. I'm sure that the players will be excited. I've spoken to some of the players in the past. I interviewed Son not that long ago, and he said he was really excited about it. Actually, Son has been an incredible player for me, because when Harry Kane was injured, at least he stepped up and started scoring goals. And they were, you know, they kind of got themselves out of trouble a bit, didn't they? Because, you know, having made no signings, as I said, in the last 2 windows, a lot of people say that the squad depth is just not enough. And to be fair, when you look at the team and you go through it, you do kind of feel for Mauricio Pochettino. He's perhaps reached his level with the players he's got. Can you see Spurs challenging with Manchester City consistently, with Liverpool, with Chelsea as well? And an interview with Pep Guardiola as well, and he said, look, we're not geniuses, us managers. We need decent players to be able to win things, and he's one of the best around. You don't want to sort of suddenly reach sort of getting to 3rd and 2nd in the table and then sort of dropping down the table. So it's a really tough time for Spurs right now, and I think if you're a Spurs fan, it must be tough. And I feel for you, but we'd love to hear your views. So if you want to get in touch with us, if you are a Spurs fan listening and you're nodding or disagreeing with anything I say, please do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.